Hello, I'm going to be sewing the Jordan pouch. It is just a small organizer for your purse to keep all kinds of things that end up being loose in your purse, so you can easily find them. So this is the size. This is the interior. It's a purple leopard print. Love it. This is the exterior, and it is a black cork with a eggplant or a purple tag. Again, these come from Heartwood and Hide. They're here locally, so whenever I need to reorder, I just run over there and pick them up. But they're a fantastic company. They're on Facebook and they have a website, Heartwood and Hide. These happen to be Cork. Extremely well made. And then I usually make about a 16 or 17 inch zipper to go around. And then for the outside, there are 2 tabs that I put on the outside so you can grab it when you're either closing it or opening with the zipper. And then we'll use these to finish the interior so there really aren't any raw edges. So I'll show you how to do these. These are just about 3 inch by 1 inch. That's what I use them for. So what we're going to do to start with is we are going to sew our tag on the top. And let me just see if you can get in here and see a little bit. Let's see. That's probably as good as it's going to get. And I usually do about a 2.5 to 3 stitch length to put my tags on. And I'll pull the threads to the back. So I'm just pulling that one to the back. Then, just to make it easier, and I don't know if everybody needs to do this, but it just makes it so much easier. I hold on to my threads when I cut them. That way I know which one it is I need to pull to the back to tie off. Okay, so you can see, but all 4 threads are there, and how nice it looks on the front. There aren't any knots or loose threads. So I'll just tie those off. Two or 3 knots, and then I'll cut the long threads off and burn the ends. So there it is in the back. Nobody's ever going to see that, but it really looks nice and professional from the front. All right, so now we're ready to put the zipper on, and I always find the midpoint of my zipper on the back of the zipper, just with a little, I use a leather marking tool from Mormino. All the pattern pieces already have the notch for the middle. So you start with the outer edge, and we will clip those on. Just do one side at a time. Actually, I'm going to get my clips. A little bit of a tedious process. So there you see we have it all clipped on, the wrong side up and So it's really right sides together. So there's the right side of the zipper to the right side of the black cork. And then we're just gonna baste that on. So I'll just do a 4 stitch length. But we'll baste that on because we're gonna also put the lining on, so we don't need the tight seam just yet. And it is sometimes helpful to use your stiletto. I got this at, let's see, Hannah's Woodworking. Oh my gosh, they're absolutely stunning stilettos. You can put it away, or the other side is a seam ripper. Fantastic, sturdy. Never gonna need more than one of these. Well, unless you just love them. You know, I was going to talk a little bit about the thread that I use. I would say for the most part, to use coordinating threads. Some people like to use contrasting threads, something that's going to stand out. And I do that sometimes. But I'd say for the most part, I am using purple for this, so on the outside of the black, you will be able to see it. But I'm not using black. Black, you wouldn't probably be able to see the stitches hardly at all. All right, so we're just gonna trim our threads there. All right, so we got that on, basted on. And now I like to unzip the zipper a little bit, and you can see I have both ends with a clip on it so that the zipper tab doesn't come off. And then we are just going to match up, again, right sides of the zipper to the right side of the cork, the outer panel. Clip that in place, and we'll just repeat by doing a basting stitch. You can never have enough clips, I'll just tell you that. Again, this is called a Jordan pouch. In order to get the pattern pieces and the measurements and all that, you would need to purchase the pattern. I did cut these pattern pieces out on my Brother Scan & Cut. And I'm telling you, that Brother Scan & Cut, my husband got that for me for Christmas. It is a time saver. And it makes a huge, huge difference in the amount of time you spend cutting out your pattern pieces. All right, so let's baste that in place. Get my stiletto out here. There's nothing really challenging about this bag. Probably the most challenging are these curves, but they're not very sharp curves. So if you just go slow, especially on this part of it, because we're just basting, you should be good. Again, I am using my Sailrite fabricator machine. It's an industrial machine. It is a workhorse. I don't know what I wouldn't be able to do all this without it. You can't do some of these bags on, it's harder to do some of these bags on a domestic machine, like my Bernina, which I have right behind me. All right, so we got the lining fabric, and now we're ready to put that on. we just match up the centers, clip those on, and I do both of these at the same time, so I'll clip both sides. Again, flatten that zipper underneath, going around those curves. And I don't know if you guys, I'm sure most of you know this, but with these clips, there's a flat side and a curved side. When you're putting these on, it works so much better if you put the flat side on the bottom, so that when you're going around those curves, you can easily pull those out. So if you see, this is the bottom, this is the top where I'm going to be sewing. So the bottom has all my flats of my clips. All right, so again, we're just going to find the center. Flatten that zipper out around the corner. Okay. All right. Now, this time we're going to do that 1/4 inch seam. 1/4 to 3/8. It really depends on your machine and how close you can get to that zipper. But you're going to want, as you go around, and I've got it on 4, so I think I'm just going to turn it down just a hair. When you go around those corners, make sure that you're feeling underneath the fabric for your zipper, so you're not going over the zipper teeth. Do a good back stitch. And again, going around these corners, just take your time. There's no hurry. You want to get it good and close to the zipper, but not too close. I don't know if you can hear the TV out there. My husband's watching the Lightning game. We live just south of Tampa, Florida. So we're big Lightning soccer, not soccer, hockey fans. Okay. It's one side. Now let's do the other side. I would use my stiletto for this part, but I really have to feel where the zipper teeth are. You just want to go slow and make sure you don't sew over your little fingers. Thankfully, I haven't done that yet, knock on wood. Okay. All right, so we got both the lining. You can see that's the lining, and that is the back side of the cork. So back side of the lining and back side of the cork. So now what we want to do is you want to clip those corners, and you can do it one of two ways. You could just put little snips around the corners so that when you turn it, it lays flat. I like to just use my pinking shears just around the corners. It, number one, helps with the non-fraying of the zipper tape, but it gets good and close and helps with the flattening of those corners. You know, it's 3 layers, and I just do the corners. So there's one corner, and there's the other. So I'll do that on the other side. You know, I was always taught not to cut into zipper tape, but in this situation, you really have to get a nice curved edge. And so using the pinking shears is a good option. All right, let me clean up my mess here. All right, so now you need to turn this right side out, and you turn it, let me turn you over here just a little bit. You turn it through this one end without the zipper tab, because you want to keep that closed, and you want to keep your zipper pull, I should say. You want to keep your zipper pull on. So it's pretty easy to turn. It depends on the fabric that you use, but it's not hard to do. It just takes a minute to get it started and get it going through. So there we go. Now you just gotta pull it all through. That's funny. I just hit the pedal on my Sailrite, and I said, "Oops." And I just remember being a nurse. We were taught never to say "oops" when you're caring for a patient. They don't want to hear the word "oops." So every time I ever say that, I think about that, and I think, oh dear, I really shouldn't be saying that. And I'm like, well, this is not a matter of life and death. So saying oops when I'm sewing is not a bad thing. I have a couple nurse friends that might watch this video in the future, and they'll completely understand what I'm saying. All right, so there is the outside, and there's the inside. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put our little outside tabs on, and those go right in the centers of this notch. On the outside, I'll get it on there and then I'll show you. So there it is. It goes in the center of where the zipper is, facing on the right side of the fabric with the raw edges on the same side. So we'll put this one on. So there's, you can see it from the inside. Oops. Pick that up. You can see it from the outside. So now when we go around and top stitch, we'll catch those tabs. But if you can see my corners, because we clipped, the corners look pretty good. If we hadn't done that clipping, it would be very difficult to get nice curves there. All right, so let's do some top stitching. We're almost done, and then we'll finish this up. And it doesn't really matter where you start. I usually start over here at the end, just so the start and stop stitches aren't seen. And since this is top stitching, I'm going to go up to a 4, 4.5 stitch length. And again, going around those curves, just go slow. So it's about 1/8 of an inch from the end of the cork. And go a little faster on those straightaways. And then when you get to the end here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me pull you in for a second. When you get to the end here, we're going to pivot and we're going to go this way. I'll show you here in a second. And then we're going to catch that tab and sew that in. And again, we're going to, when we get to the corner, we're going to pivot. And get to the, so if you can see, let me see if you can see. See what I did here? Nope, it's really hard to see. I'll lift it up in just a second. Easier to see. Again, slow around those curves. Into that, pivot. Go to the corner and pivot. And then we're going to catch that tab. Go to the corner, pivot. And then we're just going to catch where we started. And back stitch. All right. Cut our threads. This is such cute fabric. So if you can see here, let me see if there's a little better light. No, that's not good. But you can see what I did. I pivoted here where the cork ended, went to the corner, pivoted. I caught the tab, and I did the same thing on this side. So we caught the fabric on the inside as well. So now all we have to do is pull the zipper so that it's wrong side out, and we are going to finish this. So what you want to do is kind of square off this end just like that, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam along all the way from end to end, and then this will be just excess zipper. I'll take that off now. And then we're gonna cover that raw edge with a piece of the lining. Backstitch good. And nobody's gonna see this, so it doesn't have to be pretty. That's why I went kind of fast. And then we are gonna cut that excess off to about a little less than a 1/4 of an inch. So just like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we will cover that raw edge. This side is a little more challenging because you have to make sure that you get things even. Again, it's not going to look pretty, but see that your zipper at the end is pretty even right there. So I'll clip it, and then you can see what I'm talking about. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to, again, sew across here at about a 1/4 inch seam allowance and back stitch pretty well. And then this will be excess zipper. But you see these zipper tabs are pretty even. So that's kind of important. If you started out even, if your zipper tape started out even, that's pretty important. That way the pouch won't be kind of askew. Okay, cut your threads off. We're almost done. Again, we're gonna cut that excess off so you can see what it looks like. Cut that excess off at about a little less than a 1/4 of an inch. And there you have it. So we have that end without the zipper pull, and then we have this end with the zipper pull. The whole thing is wrong side out. So now we're gonna cover those ends, and that's where we're gonna use these 1 inch by 3 inch pieces. And it needs just to be a non-fraying fabric. This is actually waterproof canvas, so the ends don't fray. So I'm gonna put that just like this. Kind of hard to see with the camera. And then we're gonna fold that over so that you see no raw edges. Let me do that, and I'll clip it and show you what it looks like. So, and then we're going to sew across that, and that really finishes the inside. It's a really nice, this is a really cute little pattern. So let's finish this one, and then we'll do the other one. And again, this seam doesn't need to be perfect. It's down in the bottom of the little pouch, so most people aren't going to see it, especially when there's stuff in there. Yeah, I always try and be as neat as I can be whenever I make anything. But all right, so there you have it. That's all stitched. And now we're just going to cut these extra little tabs off. Try not to cut into your actual pouch. Just cut them off at the corners. And there you have it. So then when we look inside, it's a finished edge. So let's just, oh dear. Let's do that on the other side. I'm gonna get my thread out here. Okay. Okay. Again, we'll just use that and fold it over those raw edges. And put a nice little seam across there and then cut off the excess. All right, let's cut the excess off and then we'll turn it right side out and we are done. I do like to just burn my ends just in case there's any little frays there or loose threads. Doesn't look like there is. All right, so there you have it. That's the inside with the pull tab on this side and the inside on the other side. So let's just turn it out, right side out. Pull our, kind of poke those corners out, and there's our little tabs. And then zip it up. And there you have it. Nice little pouch. Keep things organized. There's two tabs. There's the tab on that end and a tab on this end. Open it up. And you have your gorgeous leopard in there. It's kind of hard to see. So here we'll put our stiletto in there. Not that we would do that, but here's a pen. Let's put our little lighter in there. But see how much room there is? There is tons of room in there for all kinds of things. I have one in my purse that I put my pens, my lip balm, lipstick. I keep eyeglass cleaners in there. My husband's chapstick. All kinds of things. A little polysporin. I'm always nicking myself somewhere. And a Band-Aid. So it's full of stuff. So there you go. That's called the Jordan pouch. And it's pretty easy to make. Let me know. Please subscribe and like. And feel free to comment. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.